Hello and welcome to With Heart and Soul podcast. You're listening to your hosts, David and Jackie. Hi, David.
Hello.
How are you today, David?
I am doing well. It's a little gloomy today, but I actually like gloomy weather. I like rainy weather also. But I feel like it's like now the seasons is like officially well in Georgia anyway. I know it's different in Pennsylvania for sure. But in Georgia it's like it's actually when it's I guess it's technically still fall. It's not officially winter yet, but it looks wintry fallish weather, and then I could wear these blazers now and and not be sweaty and things of that nature. But I'm glad it's a Sunday. I'm glad it's more of a wind down type of day, relaxation type of day. What about you? How's everything going with you?
It's going fine. Did you do anything interesting this week before we talk about me?
What did I do this week? I didn't travel this week. No, I did travel. Take it back. I traveled on Monday. But we talked about that last episode. How I had to wake up super early in the morning, and it was Thanksgiving. But this week, no, it was pretty much a chill week. Pretty chill. Oh, yesterday I actually did something. I did another youth slash young adult event. We went to this place called Putt Shack. It's like a mini golf place. So it was a mini golf place. We did mini golf, and we also went to this place called The Works in Atlanta. It's like they have like a lot of different restaurants in like one area, and it's you basically it's like a family out group event type outing place where you guys go get your food and then you just like find a table somewhere to sit and eat. So that's where we went afterwards, and it was pretty cool. We all like went to different restaurants and we all shared different foods and stuff like that. So it was pretty fun, pretty fun. And then yeah, so then today I went to church, and yeah, pretty chill weekend I would say. What about you?
You went to church and you put your fancy blazer on.
I did. It's for the occasion. Why not? So
Yeah, I like that you wear loud clothing because I like loud clothing or like things that are different from the usual.
yeah.
And I was just one of my friends from when I lived in Florida messaged me and was telling me that when we were little girls that she was kind of jealous of my style because I always wore like kind of like out there things and she didn't think she could pull it off. But anybody can pull it off. You just got to
Yeah.
dare to do it because people like to just wear regular stuff so nobody looks at you because loud clothing like attracts attention to you. But
Yeah.
but still, it's not for
Yeah.
the attention. It's because it's fun.
I agree. I love wearing colors and bright colors and all this. And my wife is like, I was wearing an outfit yesterday, and she was like, "That's not gonna work. You got too many colors going on." And then when I put the outfit on, she's like, "Okay, it works." So you have to experiment. I love to experiment with clothes. Like, yeah, I have outfits that I try to put together that doesn't work, and she's clear. She says, "No, that's not it." But there are other outfits that's like, okay. Hey, give it a try. And if it doesn't work with, like maybe this blazer doesn't work with the shirt, switch the shirt and maybe you'll work out better. Maybe you'll wear a white shirt, things of that nature. Experiment with your clothes. You don't have to go with the same basic primary colors, black, red, white, blue. Mix them all up, see what you get. So,
Mhm.
if you have one life to live, style it up. Style it
Yes,
up.
yes, yes, yes.
hmm
I'm saying, but yeah. What? Okay, so you asked me about my week. Was my
Yeah.
week interesting? Let me try to think. By now, I just forgot everything. Um, I went to work. I took a week off of working out. Like I haven't worked out since the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So tomorrow I'm going to start working out again. So I'm super excited about that because that helps me get my mind right and everything like that. But
hmm
I think it's nice sometimes to take like some time off from exercising
Yeah.
because sometimes your life just becomes too routine. It's really nice to just take a little break. And I think actually taking a break like keeps you on it because if
Yeah.
you pressure yourself too much when you really don't feel like it, then you start to hate exercising and it feels like a chore. So
hmm
in order for me to feel like I'm choosing exercise, I literally want to choose it. So I just didn't choose it for the past week and a half. But yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow I'll be back on it. So you'll see my little story where I post myself after I worked out. I like to post that. I'm talking about my Instagram story, by the way. I didn't say any context behind that. But when I'm done working out, I take a picture of myself because it holds me accountable, and also it helps like other people like implant it in their brain, like, oh, she has time to work out. Maybe I have time to work out.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so funny. You know why? Because I do the same thing, but I do it on Snapchat. So I post it on Snapchat.
uh,
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's this. And the same thing for you. Like, I don't do it to show off, like, oh, yeah, I worked out today. Look at me. Here's my sweaty shirt. I do it for like, hey, I did it today. It's possible for you to do it today too. So keep motivating you to keep going
yeah,
because, and then also another thing about it is that what you probably realize as well is that you do it for yourself because it's like, okay, I didn't want to wake up and do this morning, but I did an after picture. It's like, wait, I did do it. I can go back and say I did accomplish this, even though I didn't want to, and I had a great workout. It's always for me. It's always like the workouts that you really don't want to do. You end up having like the best workouts. Whereas the workouts you do, like, okay, I'm ready to do this workout. It's like, I did it. It is what it
yeah.
is.
Even when I have a bad workout, like I'll be standing there like, man, that really was like whack. Like it just didn't give me what I needed it to give me. But then I still tell myself, like, you did do that though. You did your best and you moved your body. So you
Yeah.
gotta talk yourself out of that negativity. But yeah, another plus side to working out is like over time you start to just look in the mirror and see the changes in your body. And it's just like, wow, I didn't even think it was possible for my body to change like this. Like, not that you didn't like your body before, but just seeing those improvements is a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. Anything else going on that happened to you this week?
Yeah, I just went on about working out, but anyways, it just means a lot to me, you know, and I'm excited to get back to it tomorrow. But
Yeah.
yesterday I had a full entire day of Christmas shopping. Actually, my weekend was pretty lit. So Friday, we had a date. Jackie and I had a date. She made reservations for us to go see a friend of ours play live music. So
Ah.
so yeah, we went and did that. We had a couple of drinks. I had 2 beers and I got drunk. So yep, yep, that's what I did.
A
And
little bit of a lightweight, I see.
I really am. It's like so terrible, but it's just hard because you're having a good time. And like when I'm drinking, I will literally confess everything. Like it doesn't matter who you are, I will tell you everything. So I just was talking to Jackie, telling her all my feelings and everything. And I just kept wanting to have another drink. So then I got home and I remember I sat on the couch and was like, I'm drunk. And she was like, I know.
He's like, you don't have to tell me. I see
Yeah, like,
it.
it's okay, honey, go to sleep. So yeah, then the next day we had to get up early because we had a full day of Christmas shopping. So we actually bought a little go-kart for my son, which
Mhm.
if you watch my Instagram
I
story, you will
saw
see
that. There was
Jackie
green,
tried
the little
it.
green go-kart.
That was hilarious. But yeah, so we bought him that little green go-kart off of Marketplace. That's gonna be his Christmas gift. And then after that, we just went shopping. Every holiday season, we like to do a number of charities and things like that. So we were buying things for other people and we were buying gifts for our family members and all of that. So we had a full day of shopping. And then today we took a walk at the park and we had a picnic there. So yeah, and if you watched my Instagram stories, you literally know everything I did this weekend. So
Yeah, I saw that. I was disclaiming. I was texting Jackie because she's the one that created my website for my coaching page, and I was asking her some questions, and then she stopped texting for a little bit, and then she texted me back. She was like, "Oh, sorry, I was at the park." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." I was like, "No problem. It's Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday." It's just me playing around with one of my friends that's trying to help me add a couple things to my website to make it stand out a little bit more. But yeah, I love that's beautiful weekend. You had fun, you thought about other people, and now you're able to chill. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
yes. Also, did you see that my cat got stuck in the ottoman?
I saw that. I was like, my wife keeps saying, "Oh, I want to get a cat," and I was like, I don't know, because the way that we see your cat and how destructive your cat is. Because so the cat actually scratched open those two holes just to
Yes.
get. Ah,
Yep.
wow, that's crazy.
And the thing is that she always goes under the ottoman and we always hear like scraping. We don't love
Mhm.
it, but sometimes we let it slide. Sometimes we're like, get out. Well,
Yeah.
so this morning she was doing the scraping. So I got really sick and tired of it. I got on the floor and I was like, she's not there. So then we realized she was inside and we flipped it over. And that's when I started recording and everything. And then she was pissed at me. I'm like, you got in there. You got in the ottoman. Don't be mad at me.
Oh boy. And I'm just like, oh man. So that ottoman is pretty much gone now. It's just it's forever yours until you want to
Yeah,
get it fixed.
we're gonna use like the staple gun and like
Mhm.
staple some fabric on it, but hopefully she doesn't get in until then. But she's very naughty, and
Yeah.
having a cat is like having a kid. So
Yeah, yeah, I see. I've seen your like Instagram stories where you have all the scratch marks on your hands and your arms, and I'm just like, we'll
yep,
see. We'll see.
it is a full-time job.
I see that. So the topic we got today is it's kind of funny because we both have never experienced this topic, but we have heard stories about this topic, and that's work husbands and work wives. Work husbands and work wives. And the reason why we wanted to talk about this topic is that one of my friends actually brought up this topic because he's experienced it before. He's well welcoming for us to share it on here, and well, me to share it on here, and we discuss. But work husband, work wife, because he was in a previous relationship where his girlfriend had a work husband that she said was a work husband. And long and behold, she was doing some other things with that person that wasn't necessarily all friendly at the work environment. So he found out about it. So and I was telling Jackie I have a similar situation. Like I've never had like a work wife or nothing like that, but when I was in grad school getting my master's for counseling, there was and my wife knows about this story, so so I'm not gonna get in trouble by this, but there was a woman that she liked me. Let's put out, she liked me. And but she liked me in the fact that I guess she thought I was smart. So she would always call me like her school husband. And I was just like, okay, that's cool. That's fine. But it just got to the point where it's like, she called me her school husband because she always would want like to get like the work from me, like, oh, the assignments, and oh, can I see your paper? What are you writing your topics on, or for this 20-page essay we have to write, and things of that nature. And like, oh, you took the test already. Can you write down the answers for me? And we can and so I can look at it when I'm ready to take my test. And I'm just like, if this is a work husband, I don't want to be part of this, because it's like you basically trying to use me. Or school husband.
Yeah.
And at this time I was in like in a long distance relationship with not my wife but someone previously. And first and foremost I was just like, I don't want to be, because I don't want to be called that. So I told her, I was like, I don't want to be called a school husband, because first of all, I'm in a relationship and you know that. And the second thing about it is that I don't want to be called a school husband because you are literally just using me for work. And it's like I wasn't blind to it. Like, and then people like my other classmates, like when we do group projects and stuff, she wouldn't really do the stuff with the assignments in the group. She would just be like, oh, I got so and so going on with she had a daughter. I got so and so going on with my daughter. I couldn't do it. And can you just help me out with this part? And so I was just like, I don't want this lifestyle. I don't want this lifestyle is not for me. So I told her, I was just like, I don't want to be your school husband. I don't want to be associated with that. And I actually started distancing myself from her because I realized that if I didn't distance myself from her, then she will always like try to hit me up and try to get the stuff done. So I was just like, nah, I had to, but that's the closest I've ever had to like a work husband, work wife scenario. But I know we talked about this before the podcast, but you never experienced this at all, right?
Right. But I'm proud of you that you were able to set that boundary and also like recognize that somebody was using you, because sometimes people get too caught up in enjoying attention, and it's a humanly thing to enjoy attention, but when you're enjoying it too much, you oversee the fact that somebody is just using you.
Yeah.
So it was good that you were able to recognize that. And I think you just have to be like a very mindful person, like evaluate people and really think about things more than just the surface, so that you can recognize whether or not people are using you. That's very important. So yeah, 5 points for you.
5 points, thank you.
But yeah, the only thing that I can think of is when I worked at my first like real big girl job, I would say. I had been working there for a while, and like the one day these two men came and like their seats were moved in front of me, and it was like in an office and there were cubicles. So they were moved to the cubicles in front of me, but there was kind of like a wall there because everybody takes phone calls, so you don't hear the sound.
Mhm.
So yeah, just to paint the picture. So they had been sitting there for a while and I didn't think anything of them, but all the girls at this job were just like dying over these two men, like, oh my God, they're so cute and everything like that. And as I've said before, like, I'm just not that type of person. Like, I don't check people out. If somebody comes and sits by me, I'm just like, okay, that's just a person to me. Like, if I do happen to find someone attractive, it's because I've talked to them and their soul is attractive to me. So then I'll start to notice their physical appearance. So for me, I just was like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but like, I ain't worried about
Mhm. Mhm.
it. But anyways, I was with my ex-husband at the time also. But anyways, just a disclaimer. So they had been sitting there for a while, and then the one day the one guy offered me like a lollipop, I think, which was super random, but it was a dum dum, and I just was like, fine. I thought nothing of it. And then all my friends started like going crazy because these girls are just always like, oh my God, he's so cute. And they were like, oh, he likes you. So they started telling me that he likes me. So I started paying more attention to him, and I started to notice that he was looking at me, like he was checking me out all the time. So I'm like, okay, I guess he does. And this was when I was in my abusive relationship. So of course, this was the first time after I had my second son that I felt like someone that thought I was attractive. Like, when someone thinks you're attractive, you're like, ooh, I still got it.
Mhm.
So it gave me like that type of feeling. And then somehow we ended up like chatting, like we would chat over the wall like openly, and then we ended up IMing. So we would IM all the time. And then the one day he says something about his wife, and I'm just like, oh, he's married. So he just starts talking about his wife. So I said something to him like that he has a wife, and he just was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're being weird. Like, he tried to act like he wasn't acting any sort of way towards.
Mhm.
But anyways, then shortly after that, she ended up getting pregnant, and he just completely stopped talking to me. But yeah, just that was a very interesting experience to to say the least.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was a lot of men at that job that acted like that too. Like, there was also this other man that tried to tell me that he was going to leave the mother of his children soon, and I had just broken up with my ex-husband, but I don't think till this day he's left her. So I
Wow.
don't know, like, what's with these grown ass men. I even said to this man, like, you and my dad are the same age, and he just still did not care. Like, he used to put a full size candy bar on my desk, and I'm lactose intolerant, so that was the first funny part about that. And
Mhm.
also, I'm kind of like naive. So when he would leave it there, I didn't know why he was doing it. And I would tell Jackie, because I was with Jackie at the time, that he was leaving a full size candy bar there. And she kept telling me he likes me. I'm like, I don't think that's what that means.
Mhm.
I still am not 100% sure if that's what that meant, but maybe it was. I mean, nobody else was getting a candy bar, just me. So I don't know.
Yeah, either he was just oblivious nice, like he was just like nice to be nice, and he
Hmm.
didn't realize that what it would look like, or he was attracted to you, or he liked you. So, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he's just a really nice guy. If you want to say that.
No, he
um,
definitely gave me fuckboy vibes.
well, then I guess he was attracted to you.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's just so interesting, especially I know like you always tell me like I know you work in like an office setting, so I know you have to deal with like all those different like work politics and all this different stuff. Like for me, I don't work in a essentially like an office. So I
Right.
work from home, and if I'm not working from home, I'm in like a place because I have to travel. So, but I don't have to deal with like the work dramas and all this different stuff and the work husband, the work wives. But I guess back to like my friend, I was just like, what do you do in those situations? Like, as you said, I think boundaries is the biggest thing, because I guess the lines start to blur when you're maybe having trouble at home, and then you have someone at work where you feel comfortable talking to, and you have that person that you really that's welcoming with spending time with you and having talks with you, or you guys are going to lunch and things of that nature. So I guess for me, like, what do you think? Do you think it's like more of like a boundary issue, or do you think it's more of a situation where people are trying to just get away from like whatever they're going through at home?
Well, I was under the impression that like work husband or work wife to people who say that kind of like meant like someone who brings me lunch, like not in a romantic way, but like, oh, there was so much leftovers for dinner last night, I'm gonna bring them. Or just someone who has your back at work. Like, you know, you can get through any day at work with just like one good coworker.
Mm,
And
mm,
I've always had that, but it's always like a friend, like a platonic, like female friend where we're like BFFs attached by the hip at work. And I'm guessing in other situations for people, it's like someone of the opposite sex.
yeah.
But I did ask Jacky about this too, and I was just like, I really don't know like what I feel about this. Like, I don't know if I would be jealous. And she also asked me, like, what do you think is a work wife or a work husband? And I explained to her, like, I think it's someone who brings you lunch and things like that. And she's like, I do that for everybody. Like, she gives everyone everything. She brings people food, she brings people beer, like she's constantly doing stuff for people at work,
Mhm.
and I don't feel any type of way about it. I think it can become blurry when like you said, there's issues at home and you're getting that attention and you're bonding with someone um because you're lonely and they're probably lonely as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think like for me, the reason why I thought about it that way, because I read like a lot of books, like especially like relationship books, just to keep myself going, like learn, like continue education about like being a coach. And I've heard like I forgot what the name of that book was, but it was a lot of scenarios that the author was talking about how usually how divorces and people cheat is like most of the time is like coworkers that they may have been getting something from the friendship that they weren't getting at home, or maybe your significant other is like lacking in some type of way that you're looking for, but instead of you being vocal about it, you tend to go to somebody else that's willing and able to give it to you right away, instead of you putting the work and try to get it from your significant other. So that's how I see it. But as you said, I think I do see it that way as well. Cute name like, oh well, this is just my work husband, or this is just my work wife, where they brought me leftovers, and we don't do anything like crazy. Like we're not going outside of the job to go out to eat and have dinner like that. Or if you do, it's like more friendly type of manner. But that is interesting about the as far as like attraction wise. Because if you're saying like, okay, well, I'm just doing it because I'm just friendly, then and there's nothing, you don't feel anything from it, and the other person's not feeling anything from it, I guess, is that okay? Or is it more of a situation where you shouldn't have it at all, but you should just be friends? You shouldn't really put that title on that person. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. What do you think about that?
I actually do have been talking about this a lot. Like, I ask a lot of people that are older than me that have been married for a long time, like, did you have crushes and attractions like throughout your marriage? Like, you've been married for a long time. And
Mhm.
I know in other relationships, like I've had other attractions and other crushes and things like that, but I just never act upon it.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with something like that? Like, we are all human beings and we can't help it. Like, yes, you can be monogamous and that's a choice, but that doesn't mean you don't find other people attractive. Like, I know you don't work with anyone closely, but like, what if you did? Like, how do females and males like work together in the workplace while having attractions? I mean,
Yeah.
and not only that, because I also had a lesbian at one of my other jobs and she was married, but I could tell that there was an attraction there towards me, and like that was difficult to work with her then. And it's just like
Mhm.
it happens all the time. It's just like, how do you deal with it? Like, what would you say would be a way to deal with it?
Yeah, I think it's really tough because it's like, okay, is this just a friendship, or is it something more like as you said, like you get something from that relationship that maybe you're not getting at home, is that something that you're just going to let it keep going and let it keep growing? Or are you going to take the time to address it with your significant other? Some people say, I'm getting it from that person, so maybe when I go home, it's going to be easier when I go to my significant other, and it's not going to be as stressful. Whereas another person might say, okay, if you're getting it from that person, that's a problem. You should be getting it from your significant other. So it's like, it's kind of hard. Like, okay, you know that you're not outright cheating per se, like you're not outright physically doing something or emotionally doing something, but what if you're leaning towards that? What do you do in those situations? It's kind of difficult. I guess it would just depend on the person. I would say it would depend on the person, because how far can friendliness go? And when should you stop being friendly? I guess that's the biggest thing. Because for me, I'm friendly with everybody, but at the same time, I know that if I'm too friendly with one person, and it can end in a bad way. So it's all about setting boundaries. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like for me, I had to learn that certain friendships are just not needed, because it can lead to a direction where you don't want it to be, and you end up making a mistake or making an error or doing something that you may have not intentionally wanted to do, but you end up doing. Like, for example, you could be like, oh, we're just going to go hang out. I don't feel anything like well, we're going on a date, or it's going to be anything too serious. But for the other person, you never know. Their intentions might be like, okay, well, is this a date? This may be something more. So it just depends. I think it's kind of hard. I don't know. Maybe am I being clear?
No, this is hurting my brain so bad, because
Yeah.
this is something that I've been like wanting to know, like, what do you do? But I didn't get to say, like, when I ask older women, they say yes. Like, of course, I've had crushes and attractions throughout this relationship.
Mhm.
And I think that's fine and it's normal. And also many people say that like casual flirting is okay as well, as long as you're not acting on it. So then after so many people kept saying, as long as you're not acting on it, to me, I'm like, well, what does that entail?
Yeah.
What is acting on it? So then somebody told me that means going out, like going out of the work building, like meeting for lunch, meeting for a date, like for dinner or whatever. That's acting on it to them. But to me, I just feel like all of it is so blurry, and I just don't understand. And like, I'm new to being friends with men, as I've told you before. And also, like, how do you know if there's an attraction or not? What if you're not attracted and you're genuinely being friends and the other person is attracted to you? How do you know? Is it a vibe? Are you making it up? If you think it is, like, should you trust yourself? Like, these are questions that I have. Like, I'm like, I have therapy tomorrow, and I cannot wait to talk to her, because I really like want to ask her all this stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's really difficult, because if you think about it, it's like, you may not have those intentions, the other person might have those intentions, but at vice versa, you may be like, okay, well, am I attracted to this person? And that person might just be very just friendly, and they have no attraction towards you. And you may step out your relationship and make a mistake, and it's like, I made this mistake for no reason. And it's like the grass is always green on the other side. Like, that whole concept of like, maybe if I step out into something, maybe I might get something better. But at the same time, it's like, are you really valuing what you already have? Because a lot of times, like, from all these stories, especially my friend's story that he was telling me, is like, he thought maybe he wasn't doing something for the girl, or she was getting something from him, from that guy that she cheated on him with. And it's like, I don't know. You never know unless the person comes out and tells you. Like, it might be just one simple thing, or maybe this person always looks out for my coffee cup when it's empty, and they consider it, or something like that, or they always come and see how I'm doing, or things like that. You just never know, like, what that thing that triggered that we're friends to a work husband, work wife to, oh, we're going out to have dinner type of situation. And it's interesting. It's really interesting, because it kind of makes you think, do we all have that capacity of doing something like this? Do we all have that I guess that gene in us where we get really friendly with people and it makes us sway to do things that we're not, that's not who we are as an individual, or we're not trying to be. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Well, I do think that everybody has that capability, even if you don't want to admit it. Like many people I talk to are just like, absolutely not. But you just never know. Like you may have had rough patches in your relationship, but there was no one else around. Like, whether you were working from home, like it depends on what your lifestyle is like and whether or not you see other people on a daily basis. So if you work from home and you don't really have coworkers in person or anything like that, and you don't have one-on-one Zoom meetings with people, then you have no idea what it actually feels like to go into an office and leave your home and see people that don't live there, that are of the opposite sex or whatever it is that you're attracted to. You don't know what that feels like. And you never know. You literally never know. You could be in a rough patch and be really low, and it could happen. Like I really do think so. You never know. You can say all day that you wouldn't do something, but you don't know what you would do unless you were actually faced with the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot what else I was gonna say about this. Um, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. You talk.
I was gonna say, as you were talking, I was thinking like, and this is for the people that don't say that they have a work husband, work wife. They may call it something else, like, oh, that's my buddy from work, or everybody. We all have different names that you call different people. So I don't want us to be just like saying like, oh, it's just work husband, work wife. You may call that person someone else, or you might call that person my ace, or my close friend at work, or whatever you want to call it. But sometimes you really gotta check yourself. I think just like for me, I had to check myself with that person from my grad school classes. It's like, is this really my friend, or is this person really just trying to get something out of me? Or is this really just a platonic friendship? Or is there some more incentives that the person is trying to get? Or is there more feelings out there? Because she was clear as day. She said she liked me. And but most of the time, some people are not direct like that. People are just like, okay, they just gonna give you like compliments, and they'll constantly give you compliments, and but they're only giving compliments to you, even though you have a lot of other coworkers, or you might have a whole bunch of classmates, but they always want to eat to you, or maybe they always want to sit next to you, or always want to talk to you during lunch and things of that nature. Sometimes it may be something as simple as that, and you're like, okay, well, they're just being friendly, or they just want to be my friend. But at the same time, you never know, as we talked about plenty of times in the other episodes, like you never know what other people are thinking. So I think the biggest thing about this, like for me, as we're talking about this topic, is like be observant of behaviors, and also remember what boundaries you and your significant other talks about. Because as we said before in another episode, how everybody got different rules in their relationships. Some people might be completely okay with you having friends that you go out and have lunch with and dinner with and things of that nature, as long as you come back home and things of that nature. But there might be other people that have relationships where, no, I don't want you going out with anybody else. It's just us. So it just depends.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of gray areas when it comes to this. But I guess when it comes to like work husband and work wife, like it's up to you and like what the rules are within your relationship, if you would be comfortable with that, or if you would be jealous about it. Maybe it would make you feel better if you meet that person. Like for example, my ex wants to go out for drinks, but my fiance is coming with us. Like I'm not gonna go meet him for drinks by myself.
Yeah.
But she's not telling me you may not have that friendship. I'm not okay with it. But if he wants to go out for drinks, it's gonna be both of us, not just one of us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a good example of that. Also, my other male friend from work, he wants to meet up for drinks. That's not going to be with just me. It's going to be with both of us. So I think that works with straight relationships too. Like it's totally fine if your wife or your female partner wants to have male friends. I think it's fine as long as you go together. I would say like it could be a friendship that both of you share with that person.
Mm-hmm. And I love that idea. I think that's a really good idea, because like for me, I do like the two rules I always tell myself is that one, my wife has to meet this person, and then the other one is that don't go out with them at night by yourself. I think those are the two big things for me. Like, even if my wife knows you, I'm gonna be meeting with you in the afternoon, like for lunch. We're not going out to dinner. We're not going out to no bar. We're not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
And I just make sure. Or the third thing is that, as you said, it's not just me but myself. Like, say if it's just they invite me to go somewhere, I'm like, okay, well, I'm bringing my cousin with me, or my wife is coming with me, or things of that nature. That way is an even playing field. That way it's not, even if something does happen, you know that it wasn't as if it was a date, or it was something that, you know, we're secretly doing on the side, maybe intentionally or unintentionally. And it's not gonna hurt the relationship that I have with my wife in any type of way. So
Yeah.
just for the people listening, like, make sure you have those ground rules. Like, I think the biggest thing that happens in relationships that I see a lot is like, people blur the rules of what the relationship is. Like, yeah, you don't have to be concrete all the time. You don't have to be strict all the time, but make sure you talk to your significant other about what is okay and what is not okay. Because a lot of times people think that, okay, well, just because I'm doing this and we haven't talked about it, that means it's okay. You know, but talk about it. Like, hey, are you okay with me doing this? Is this something that you're happy with? Because I've been invited to do this, and I don't want to hurt the relationship. And especially guys, I know you said men are crazy and things of that nature, but especially guys that are listening to this, talk to your wife before you go step out and go meet any type of woman, because it will save you a lot of problems.
Oh,
It will save you a lot of problems and trouble, because you don't want to go step out and talk to a woman, or, you know, step out and meet a woman and your wife doesn't know anything about it, or your girlfriend doesn't know anything about it. They're not going to be happy with that. Just like in the situation where you wouldn't want your wife to go meet some man that you don't know anything about, you'll be upset.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I feel like men will tend to, not all men, but I feel like sometimes men can tend to think like, if I have these casual conversations with this girl, then that's fine. But if they find out that their girl is having these casual conversations with a man, they'll have like a stroke. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's not the way it works. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you get to like go do whatever you want, and it means more when she does it. Do not do anything that you wouldn't want your partner to do to you.
Exactly.
But yeah, as far as like rules, I thought about another thing. The other day, I was trying to get my son a Nintendo Switch Lite for Christmas, and I'm not gonna be able to. That's why we got the go-kart. But
Mhm.
I saw that there was like a used one on Best Buy, and my ex is like a gamer. So I texted him and I was like, "Hey, what do you know about like used Nintendos? Like, is it a good idea?" And he started calling my phone, and my phone was on the table, and me and Jackie were like, I don't know, I think we were sitting there having breakfast or something, and she goes, "What's that about?" And I got so nervous, like I got so hot and everything, because I felt like I was doing something wrong because he's calling my phone.
Mhm.
And we had already had a fight about him calling my phone like a few months ago.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, oh well, I done fucked up. But I I just said, he's calling me because I just texted him and I asked him about the Nintendo, like nothing's going on. And she's just like, yeah, whatever. Like she was just irritated.
Mhm.
So I texted him and I said to him that she was not comfortable with him calling me. But I was like, I know you didn't have any bad intentions. She's just not comfortable with it. You're still, to me, to her, like you're still my ex.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not like that goes away. She doesn't mind if we're friends, but you're still my ex. So you can't just be calling my phone. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said to him, how would you feel if your girl's ex called your phone? I mean her phone. And he was like, I would be asking questions like the FBI. So I apologize. Like I get it. So I don't think he'll be calling anymore. But yeah, so in that way, like I think that we need to just let go of all these weird little rules about like not being friends with people, like have friends, but have conversations with your partner. And another thing is, when I do text with my ex, I like casually mention it to Jackie. Like I'll just be like, oh yeah, he texted me this morning. We talked a little bit. Anytime he texts me, I will like casually mention it to her. Anytime I talk to my male friend from work, I will just casually mention it to her. Like I just want her to know, and I don't want there to be any secrets ever. Like she knows, like we DM sometimes on Instagram, we text sometimes. Like my friend from work sent me a funny video and I'm like, oh look, my friend from work sent me this funny video, look at it, and she'll watch it. Like it's a friendship that is open with her. if that makes sense.
No, I definitely get that. And I think that's very important, especially because I do the same thing as well. Like whenever she hears me on the phone with somebody, I was like, oh, so and so called me because they were trying to figure out something or they want to just catch up with me or things of that nature. She knows exactly who I'm speaking to. And even if she didn't hear the conversation, I'll say, hey, I just finished talking to so and so, because I want to make sure, as you said, I want to make sure there's open, clear dialogue and understanding that I'm not doing things behind your back. I'm not doing things to upset you. I'm not sneaking around and saying anything because I don't want you to do the same thing. I don't want you to, because I put it this way, it's simply because you wouldn't want to open a door where both people could walk through. So you open the door with you sneaking around having conversations, then your significant other has the opportunity to do the same because they see you doing it. And then there's like completely no trust in relationship. You guys are both doing whatever. And it's like, well, where's the commitment at?
Yeah.
And, the commitment falls apart and you guys end up cheating. And it's I feel like, yeah, it's difficult. Relationships are difficult. We're both talking about how it could be so many gray areas in relationships. But I think the one thing that you have to be clear about is like, okay, communication. Communicate if you're not happy. Communicate if you're happy. Communicate when you want things to change. Communicate when you want things to stay the same. Communicate when you feel like someone is doing something that you don't like. Communicate when you feel like the person is doing exactly what you want. So it's so important, especially when you have those friends that you may consider as a work husband or work wife, because you got to make sure that you're not breaking any boundaries with your relationship, because then it opens the door for your significant other to do the same thing. They may have a work husband, work wife that you don't know about because you haven't talked to your significant other about your work husband, work wife, and you guys are both dividing your emotions to other people, especially when you're supposed to be giving your all to your significant other. So
Yeah. Also, nothing good comes out of cheating. Like a lot of people end up getting hurt, and not only that, but it breaks your own moral compass for you to exhibit these behaviors. Like and it also depends on your lifestyle and everything like that. But we're referring to like people who are monogamous. And in general, like you shouldn't go around wanting to hurt other people. Cheating like hurts a lot of people deeply. It's gonna
yeah,
hurt you because you hurt other people. You're going to hurt the person you cheated with. You're going to hurt your partner. And not only that, if you do end up regretting it and being remorseful, I believe that when we make mistakes, we can have consequences that last for a lifetime. So cheating is one of those. Your consequence will be never getting that person back. So you got to really think about your actions thoroughly. And even though it's possible to like have other crushes on people and other attractions, like we stated, totally human, no judgment, but a relationship is a choice. And every single day you have to choose your partner. It doesn't just happen naturally. You have to mindfully choose your partner. Like, yes, I see this person every day at work and they're cute, but I choose my partner. And every day you have to make that choice, because if one day you don't, that's how you slip up.
yeah, I agree. Everything, especially in life and your relationships, has to do with a decision. So you come with a situation where someone is being very flirtatious with you. Are you deciding to allow that to happen, or are you deciding to end it? Because if you're allowing it to happen, you don't know how far extent it'll take, and what things that might spring from that. But if you decide to end it and say, hey, I know you may be attracted to me. I know you're being very flirtatious. Maybe if you haven't realized this, I just don't feel comfortable dealing with that and having that around me. Be vocal about it. Be vocal about it. Don't be afraid, and just express how you feel, because it's going to save you a lot of problems in the future. Because I've been cheated on. You've talked about your relationship situations before. You don't want to feel that. You don't want to, you know how bad that felt. So you don't want other people to feel that way. Even if you think it was a mistake, even if you think like, oh, you didn't intend for it to happen, it still happened. Those emotions still happen, those feelings still happen, and the after effect of those emotions are going to happen as well. So if you're at a situation where you and someone else is being a little bit too friendly, remember who's that other person on the other side that's going to be affected by that? Because someone is going to be affected by it regardless. Unless you're single, then that's a whole different situation. But
Yeah.
we're talking about the people that are not single, like are dating or married. So remember the other side of it all. Because I think we talked about this maybe the first episode. It's like we tend to just focus on the act of it all. Like, oh, I was doing this because I felt this way or things of that nature. But we don't talk about the repercussions that's going to happen. So
Yeah, cheating is a very in the moment satisfaction. And I do think that it makes that person like feel really good in that moment. Like they are doing that because they're selfishly choosing themselves. And it's easy to just forget about the reality of it all. And I can totally see how people can do this for years. Like you just get caught up in that type of lifestyle, and you don't have to deal with any of it if it never comes to light. You don't have to deal with the fact that you're hurting so many people. So you just have to be a mindful person. And being mindful is just like always being aware of your own emotions, and also like you said, being observant of other people. But I also do wish that people would just be more upfront, like as far as like all the situations I told you about from work. Like I wish those people would have just been like, I'm attracted to you, because then we can openly have this conversation where I'm going to be like, I'm taken and you're taken, and that's inappropriate.
yeah.
But what's hard for me is like the mind game of it all. Like it's just like, are they? Am I making it up? Like I have difficulty with that. It's like, am I making it up or not?
Yeah, that's the hardest thing about it. Is like from my example, as I said, that person was upfront and very clear. So I knew how to maneuver through that. But
Right.
how do you maneuver through a situation when you're like, dang, am I overthinking this? Is this something that maybe I'm just reading too far into? Or is this true? Because you don't want it to keep going and prolonging because of maybe this person really doesn't have that intention. And then longer behold, they really did. And then now you're in a whole situation where you've let this go on too long, and now it's become something bigger that you never even thought it would be. So I think for the people out here that are listening and they see the work husband or work wife situation starting to grow and starting to increase, ask them, be upfront. If they're not going to tell you, ask them like, hey, are we just friends? Is this just a friendship? Is nothing more, nothing less? Because if it's just a friendship, I'm okay with it. But if you're attracted to me and you want something more and you're hoping for something more, I'm not gonna be okay with that. I think that we have to be more vocal about how we feel about these situations too. I know sometimes it might be scary. It might be scary because you may be wrong. You may be completely wrong, and you'll feel this very embarrassed. But
Yeah.
it's better for you to know than you to be having those mind games in your head. Like, is this person really attracted to me, or is this person just super friendly? So yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is the answer, like just ask. But I was gonna respond and just be like, man, that could be hard, because if you're wrong, you're gonna feel like a loser. So I mean, if you're wrong, then you're wrong. And there's also like the fear of like upsetting that person by even asking them that. So I think people deny things a lot too. And I definitely assume that people would deny something if I just straight up asked. Like there have been so many times in my life where I wanted to be like, is this going on or am I imagining it? But
Mhm.
I already know like the way that that person is, they're going to deny it. So
Yeah.
then what? It's just like, then what if they're denying it? Then you just go on overthinking all the time like what their intentions are.
Yeah, that's another hard one. Because you're ready and you built up the courage and the conviction to say, hey, are you attracted to me, or is this just a friendship? And then the
Yeah.
person's like, oh no, we're just friends. We're just
Yeah.
friends. We're just friends. You're just my buddy, and all these different stuff. And it's like secretly that person still is attracted to you.
Yeah.
And you became embarrassed because you asked that question. And then the other person's like, maybe I am, maybe they're starting to catch on. It's not, but at the same time, you never know, because some people actually like that stuff. People like to be secretly attracted to other people and things of that nature.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of gray area here.
That just reminded me of another aspect of it, which is if that person isn't even conscious, like consciously interacting with you. They might not even know they're attracted to you and could say no. Like people are unconscious like that. Like they just
Yeah.
go through life and don't even think about their behaviors. So if you were to ask an unconscious person, like, are you attracted to me? They probably don't even know.
Yeah. And then that from there, how do you even maneuver that whole
Yeah.
friendship or whatever it may be? It's like, dang, I just asked this person if they're attracted to me and they said no, but they're still being very flirtatious.
So it's
So yeah, I don't know.
also, what is flirting? Like,
We're going deep into the rabbit hole for this episode.
well, we
Yeah.
have like 11 minutes and I want to hear about this. Like, what is flirting?
I guess for me, flirting will be someone who is, I guess, pressing the boundary a little bit just to see where it goes. I guess
Oh,
I like, for example, like, I guess maybe you could just give like an example of like someone who is very touchy, someone, but at the same time, that might be their nature. They're just a touchy person. They just like to rub or pat on the back and things of that nature. I don't know. That's I guess flirtatious. I guess flirtatious for me would be someone who is um trying to get an emotion out of you in a romantic way. I guess I'll put it that way. As far as like someone who is um trying to in just provide attraction and I don't know how to explain it. Maybe you can explain it better. Like you can feel it when somebody's being flirtatious with you, but how would you describe it in word form?
so it's the person saying words, but they're
Mhm.
not words like anything in particular that you would think. It's not forward words. It's a feeling. I would agree that it's a feeling.
Mhm.
Again, that goes back to the thing where it's like, am I picking up on this right or am I making this up? Yes, it's a feeling and it's no direct words. But I remember that Jacky said to me that one time when we were friends, I was like going through her bag. Like I went into her room and I sat on her bed, which is normal for her friends to do at that time. Not now. Nobody's sitting on her bed now. But at that time, it was normal for her friend to go in her room and sit in her bed. So I went in there and I grabbed her purse and I was like, what do you have in your purse? And I just started taking it out and like just saying like, oh, this is what you have and like stuff like that. And she said that in that moment, she was like, is Jacky flirting with me? But then she was like, no, that's crazy. And she moved on.
Mhm.
So, and I was. So it's just like, what, how, like there was nothing direct. I was just looking
Uh,
for her purse. So
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I think as you give me your example, I think it's like the way you do things. I think it's the way you do things. Like you can like someone intentionally trying to sway you with their words or their actions. I think that may be the way I see flirtation. Like someone that's going out the way to say things certain ways. Like why did you could have just said it this direct way, but you said it in a way that made it seem like provocative or like, oh, like, the way people say things, like as far as like they change their tones. Like
Yeah.
men, they tend to have more bass in their voices, and women try to be more quiet and whispery in with the way they speak. Or men, they try to get close, very close to you. Try to be in your presence a little bit closer, and women try to do the same thing. So I think it's just the way that you do things that could be flirtatious, the intention behind it, maybe subconsciously or intentionally. Like as you said, some people do it not knowing that they're being flirtatious, but it's maybe just the way that they tend to speak. So it just depends. I think it depends on your intent of the way you act or the way that you move. I guess that's my definition of flirtation.
Oh my God, this hurts my brain so much. Also, the other day I posted a picture on Instagram, like talking about how my ass isn't flat anymore. And
Hmm.
my ex texted me right away and he said, you posted a PFA. Your last post was a PFA. And I'm just
PFA.
like,
What's that?
yeah. I'm like, what's a PFA? I'm literally staring at my phone because it was brave of me to post that already. So, I'm waiting for people to talk shit to me.
Mhm.
And so he says that, and I'm just staring at my phone, and then he goes, pick for attention. Like it was a pick for attention.
Oh, okay.
And
I never heard that before.
me either. But yeah, I was kind of annoyed. I was just like, it's not a pick for attention. Like, what is so different about it from any of my other posts? Like, I was just really irritated. But when I said that to Jacky, she was just like, he's trying to tell you wanted attention, and that's him giving it to you by sending that text. Like,
Mm-hmm.
was there a hidden intention behind that text? Like it was like playful. Like your last post was a PFA, LOL. Like,
But then he did hit you up, and I guess I think the thing about social media and like pictures and stuff is like you may have the most clear intentions of why you did something, but someone else looks at it and they like, okay, well, why did this person post this picture? Why did this person really post this picture? And I think from his perspective, it looks like maybe she's doing it for attention. But for you, you were being brave and expressing how you felt
yeah,
about, before I couldn't do this, but now look at me now type of
yeah.
situation. But at the same time, you can't really tell what people are going to take from whatever you post because that's social media. So, what can you do? But
You have to literally not care. And
yeah,
I realize that you
yeah,
have to just not care what people think. But it was like one of my biggest fears coming true, that people are thinking negative things about my post. And so something I was so afraid of just came true by him sending that. So that's why I was irritated. But also, like I said to Jacky, he was trying to give me the attention that he thinks I was looking for by even saying that to me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look at me, for example. Like, I'm a male relationship coach, and male coaches have not been given a good rap lately. So I'm not even that. I'm a married male relationship coach about self-love. And as we talked about before, most of the clients and most of the people that I attract are women. So it's like, my intentions are pure. I'm literally making these posts just to have conversations about different aspects of different things that that I've thought about and that have come to my mind or people have talked to me about. But I don't know what this other people are thinking. Like, oh, here's another male coach about relationships telling me what I'm supposed to be doing about my relationships, and all these different things and things of that nature. So I think the biggest thing for me, like, I had to remember that what am I doing this for? What's my intention? Is my intention to secretly have women on the side, or is my intention just to help people? If my intention is just to help people, then no matter what happens, no matter the likes I get, no matter the negative feedback I get, I just got to keep going. So I think that's the biggest thing about social media in general is like, um, you, what are you doing this for? Are you doing this for other people? Or are you doing this for yourself? So.
Oh my God, that totally reminds me. You know how I said that we went for drinks on Friday and there was like a friend that was playing music? Well, we
Mhm.
were talking to him and somehow we got into the conversation about like men being creepers and stuff like that. And he said that scientifically, it has been scientifically proven that within the first minutes in an initial interaction with a man and a woman, a man's brain automatically goes to, are you a suitable mate? And that a man who like has his mind right will automatically be like, no, I'm married, I'm in a relationship, no. But just scientifically, that is how men view women, like as mates. So that he said that is every man's first thought in an initial interaction with a woman. And I was just like, what? Oh my God. But for some men they cannot talk themselves out of it, and that's how there's predators and things like that. So yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think that could be true to a lot of men. I agree. That could be true to a lot of men. But I think it's more of the situation of how secure are you as a person? Because if you are a type of person that is lustful, then you're allowing yourself to be lustful. Where if you're a type of person that your intention is to just have conversations, you can direct yourself to having just a conversation. So I think it's just more of a training and how you're developing as a person and how you continue to grow as a person to figure out as a man, what are you trying to represent? and who are you trying to represent? So I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have to wrap this up. We have about 2 minutes left. So
Yeah.
we didn't think we were going to be able to film a full episode about this conversation, but apparently we did.
I
So
guess so. I guess so.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and I hope you were able to learn some things. I hope that I asked David some questions that maybe popped up for you because he was able to provide some educated responses. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I believe you gave some educated responses as well. Yeah, I never thought that we were going to talk about this for this length. I thought it was going to be like a 20-30 minute podcast. And we're here now. We're almost at an hour. But if you have any questions about work husbands and work wives, please DM us. Talk to us about it. Maybe you have a completely different situation where you're like, you know what? I have a work husband that I call work husband, and my husband is okay with it. Or I have a work wife that's my work wife, and my wife or husband is okay with it too. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss and see what we can do. Maybe next episode we can provide our feedback and stuff about that. But I do want to say big shout out to my wife. We talked about this earlier. She was listening to the Thanksgiving podcast, and she said she wanted the podcast community to know that she's always the first to welcome food that comes that she's willing to share the food with me. So I do admit she is willing and able to share all food with me. I'm not willing and able to share food. That's just me. I'm learning to get to that point, but I haven't got there yet. So
And that was obvious to me that you're the one who needs to learn how to share.
yes. Yes. But with that being said, follow us on our Instagram with Heart and Soul Podcast. Follow us, comment, go back and watch our videos on YouTube with Heart and Soul Podcast. Like and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on the next episode. Listen to us on all major podcast stations. We are there. If you don't find us, let us know and we can make sure we're on there as well. See where we land. That is Jacky's business. Follow their Instagram and their website. They got wonderful things on there. I was actually liking a whole bunch of their pictures on Instagram this weekend because it was amazing. What they're doing is amazing. And follow me, Colabcoaching, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. All my series are on there. Like and subscribe there. My website is yourcolabcoach.com for free 15-minute coachings, discussion session, and I have a relationship checklist that you can complete there. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, SoundCloud. We're on SoundCloud also. And then with that being said, thank you so much. We will be back next week. And until then, you guys be safe and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.